This morning, cooler conditions bring welcome relief after bushfires destroyed homes across Victoria. A man dies after his car slams into a wall and explodes in Western Sydney. And why people who work Sundays could soon be taking home less pay.
This is 7 News Morning Edition with Chris Reason.
Good morning. Firefighters are welcoming today's cooler conditions as they blaze battle blazes in Victoria. 12 homes have been destroyed and 9,000 hectares burnt by the inferno in towns near Ballarat and Wodonga. 26 fires are still burning across the state. A cool change is helping firefighters battling bushfires in New South Wales. A blaze burning near Williamtown Airport near Newcastle, north of Sydney, jumped containment lines yesterday, sending embers and smoke across the area. It's burnt more than 350 hectares of scrub and is expected to be contained soon. A fire in the Bega Valley on the south coast remains out of control. More than 40 blazes burnt across the state over the weekend. Former Hey Dad star Robert Hughes has lost his appeal against his conviction for child sex offences. Hughes was sentenced to at least 6 years in prison last year after being found guilty of numerous offences against young girls in the 1980s. His victims were all aged between 7 and 15 years old. Lawyers for the 65-year-old claim he didn't receive a fair trial due to poisonous vilification by people on social media. The court rejected the appeal but asked that the allegations Hughes has been ill-treated in custody be referred to the minister. Hughes' lawyers will consider appealing now to the High Court. The Productivity Commission is expected to call for an overhaul of penalty rates and a final report into workplace relations to be released today. Live to Amelia Brace at Parliament House. Amelia, Sunday rates look set to be a sticking point. Amelia Brace live in Canberra. Many thanks. Next in 7 News, business and finance and the federal police involved in a major terror arrest in Indonesia. Also, the cat with only 8 lives left, how this kitten was brought back to life. A large fire has engulfed a property in Brisbane's west. The blaze broke out in a shed at the Gap address before spreading to the house. All residents managed to get out unharmed. The fire sent thick black smoke billowing over the suburb. Indonesian counter-terrorism police working with the Australian Federal Police and the FBI have arrested 9 men suspected of planning terror attacks on New Year's Eve in Jakarta. Bomb-making materials and jihad manuals were seized in raids across Java. Police also uncovered an IS-style flag and a map of Greater Jakarta. The men are believed to be linked to Al-Qaeda and part of the same Southeast Asian network responsible for the Bali bombings. To finance now, and joining me is Westpac's Global Head of Economics, Bill Evans. Good morning, Bill. How's our market responding to Friday's brutal night on Wall Street? All right, Bill Evans, always great to get your insight. Many thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
There are grave fears for at least 59 people missing after a landslide in China. More than 20 buildings were buried or flattened at an industrial park in Shenzhen City, including 2 worker dormitories. Rescue helicopters and hundreds of emergency workers are searching the accident site for survivors. So far, 4 people have been pulled from the rubble, 3 suffered minor injuries. Before the landslide struck, crews moved almost 1,000 residents out of harm's way. Next up in 7 News, Nick Kyrgios's big payday and Usman Khawaja returns from injury in stunning fashion. Usman Khawaja shot down any fears about his injured hamstring. Well, next in 7's Morning News, the national weather forecast with David Brown. Let's get a check of the weather forecast now with David Brown. How's it looking, Brownie?
Yeah, good morning, Chris. A cool change is now surging across the southeast corner of the country and it's also pushing through New South Wales as the monsoonal trough steps up a gear. In fact, there's a chance we might see a tropical cyclone develop over the Gulf around about midweek. Now, let's go to our weather wall. We're going to fly off to Hobart first of all. Look at this. It's fine, partly cloudy, coolish. It's sitting on 17 degrees. Should reach a top of around 19 today. In Melbourne, the cloud continues to break up. Currently 19 degrees, shooting for a high of around 21. In Sydney, you'll notice the cloud continues to build. There is some soaking rain on the way. It's expected to arrive, well, within a couple of hours. And in Brisbane, though, clear skies, forecast top 30 degrees. Yep, already there, sitting on 30. Now, this is the change we've been tracking, pushing through New South Wales at the moment. This system is driving areas of rain and some isolated thunderstorms. In fact, we can take a closer look now using our radar. This is the deck of rain slowly approaching the outer southern suburbs of Sydney. Should reach the CBD within 2 hours. The cool change, well, it's expected to run out of puff. In fact, I don't think it'll make any impact at all on southern parts of Queensland tomorrow. Again, this hot northeasterly dominating the region. But up north, a different story. Pressure's falling and we're keeping an eye on the development of this tropical low. In fact, if this low maintains its position over the Gulf, we might see a cyclone take shape during Wednesday. Around the nation tomorrow, Brisbane, fine conditions continuing and forecast top of around 30 degrees. For Sydney, well, a few passing showers at this stage and around 22 tomorrow. In Melbourne, a return to fine, mostly sunny conditions and it's warming up a little, around 25 degrees. Clear skies for Adelaide around 31. The heat's on in Perth tomorrow, dry and 39 degrees. A little later in that forecast period, remaining dry in Perth, starting to heat up in Adelaide around 35. Melbourne, a pleasant day around 29 degrees and maybe a shower or two in Sydney during Wednesday and around 23 degrees. That's the latest weather. More coming your way in the Daily Edition. Chris?
David, thank you very much for that. And that is 7 News to Now. We'll keep you up to date throughout the day. I'm Chris Reason. Thanks for your company. Goodbye.